I am gonna ride this wave as long and as far into the beach as I possibly can, because I know at some point I'm gonna run out of steam. Hello, my name is Michelle, and this is Michelle's Fiber Studio Podcast. Today is Monday, March 30th, and this is episode number, I believe it's 87. Yes, it's 87. I always forget to double check that before I hit play. Anyway, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. And if you are just stumbling across me for the very first time, well, welcome. I hope you enjoy. This is my little corner of the YouTube world, and I love sharing what fibery things that I am up to. It is a pretty nice day today here in Maine. It has been partly sunny. The sun is kind of behind the clouds right this second, but it was high 59, so high 50s. Beautiful when I walked out of the building after school, so it's really nice. We've got some colder weather coming, but these days here at this point in the spring really help give us hope and promise that the nicer days are coming. I have been pretty singularly focused this week, so I don't know how long of a podcast episode this is going to be. I do have a finished object to share, something all right, I think the dog settled down. I think they saw the neighbor dog across the way. Who even knows? But at any rate, I do have a finished object, something new that I was kind of just fiddling with and playing with. I haven't shown you at all, so this will be kind of a whole new conversation. A couple of updates on my projects. I've done mostly cross-stitching in this last week, and I do have something new on my yarn shelf. So not wearing any knitting today. Again, it's fairly mild, so I think let's head straight over to my figurative blocking board and take a look at what I've completed this week. So I don't know if any of you have been seeing the same things on your social media feed that I have, but I have had this one little thing. I saw it for the first time, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks ago, and then I kept seeing it all the time, and I just couldn't forget about it. So it was a pattern for a pop-up coaster, and the one that I kept seeing was of Scrat, which is the little squirrel from, oh my gosh, the big elephant, Manny, what's the movie? There's a whole series of movies. You know what I'm talking about, right? Ice Age. Whew, that was painful. Anyway, so I saw this pattern for a Scrat coaster, and I finally couldn't take it anymore, and I had to buy the pattern. So here is my Scrat coaster rather. Now he is supposed to be a pop-up, so like this should be doming, and it didn't. It also came out, he's super cute, like it's so funny. So if I take my mug and I set it down, I mean he kind of does, if I set him down, he does kind of pop up a little bit, but he came out bigger than I would like. So I may end up playing with this week and see if I can tweak the pattern and make it a little bit smaller and actually have it so that this is a dome, so that when you set your cup in it, it totally like pops, and it made me laugh. The pattern I could not find in all Ravelry, and I don't remember off the top of my head where I got it, but it was a set of 4. So I think there was Scrat, I want to say there was a mouse, a frog, and I don't remember what the fourth one was, but I will link it in my show notes. But this was a quickish little project. I picked away at it. I actually was kind of in progress last week, and I just chose not to talk about it. But what I did is I pulled out, I have some Knit Picks Simply Cotton in their worsted weight. This is ginger, and I believe this one is marshmallow. I have 2 additional colors, so I have plenty, so I can play around. with making him again, but it just kind of cracked me up. And I thought it would be really fun to bring to school. I didn't have any safety eyes that I wanted to add, so I just took out some black yarn and held it double to make really big French knots in the eyes. But he's pretty funny anyway. He makes me laugh, so I will set him over here. He will probably be my home coaster for my coffee cup in the morning, and maybe as I'm drinking my coffee every morning, it'll give me a laugh before I head out to work. In my project bag, I have 2 projects that I'm going to talk about, well, 3 I guess if you include my cross stitch, but 2 yarny projects. So the first one I think I will show you is I did complete another block in my Imagination Quilt. This is a crochet project by Meema Makes. So here is this week's block. Took me far too long to get this thing sewed together, but finally finished it yesterday. It came out pretty good, actually. I'm really quite pleased with it. So this makes 3.5 blocks that I'm done. I still haven't taken the time to pick out the sewing on that first block that I did, and I sewed backwards. So again, I've been very focused on other things, but I did get that block done this week. The other project that I have been working on, and this was one that I did a lot on Bible study night. I knit it in the car on the way to my mother-in-law's this weekend, and this is my watercolor cowl. So let's take a look at the progress I got done on this one. So I started here. So I got one maybe an inch or so. Is that what that is? Oh no, probably closer to 1.5 inches, huh? Would you say? So I'm doing basically a broken rib pattern. The pattern I started with, mostly just for the stitch counts, is the Mistake Rib Cowl by Pearl Soho. And the yarn is 2 different yarns that I got at my local yarn shop back in February. So I started with the Sandnes Garn Sisu. Sandnes Garn, and it is in, is it just a color number? Yeah, it's just a color number. Nothing real exciting. But then I added this mohair. Oh, it's probably not picking up, a little shadowy here. The label though is the Alpaca Yarn Company Halo Watercolors, and it is Atlantis, is the color name, or colorway. And so yeah, it's super soft. I'm really enjoying this, and I think it's going to be a fun little, I don't want to actually, it's going to be a good size. You can see in the bottom how it's stretched out, so it'll make a nice size. But the needles are not going to allow me to stretch it to throw it in my head right now. But simple. It's making a great Bible study project because it's a 2-row repeat at this point. So that's one that I pick out and bring when I just need really simple, easy, mindless knitting. Now that my socks are done, this is the project that I am grabbing. So, all right, that brings me to the third and final project, which is my cross stitch. And there are nothing fancy. I mean, I'll just show it to you and flash it to you. It's not like I can talk about yarn or anything like that. I use DMC floss, in case you're wondering. But I have been a cross stitching machine this week. So this is just over a week old now that I have been working on this project. And look at all the work that I have gotten done. So I have totally finished my daughter's head. This here is the hair clip that she was wearing. And then I'm working concurrently, like her face is here. You can see her neck is kind of going down this way. This is going to be her eye, and then this is moving into my son-in-law's face. It's just been a lot easier because a lot of the face colors are the same or are repeated across both. So I've been kind of hitting both as I've been doing that. But I am really having a lot of fun with this. And when I have free time, this is what I feel like doing. And I am gonna ride this wave as long and as far into the beach as I possibly can, because I know at some point I'm gonna run out of steam. So I apologize if cross stitching isn't your jam. Hopefully I'm gonna have a little bit of yarny content every week, but I think this is gonna be the major thing for the foreseeable future. So I'll try to always stick it at the end of this segment, so if it doesn't interest you, you can easily skip ahead. But that is pretty much where I'm at. Since it's the end of March, I will take a quick second and I can talk about those lofty goals that I set at the beginning of March, which is before, in all fairness, before I started that cross-stitch project. But and I really didn't meet, well, the only one I met is I did finish my Spooky Girl socks. I think that was the only one that I met. I mostly did 1 square a week in my Imagination Quilt. I think technically I should have an additional square done because that last one took me 2 weeks. Definitely did not finish all of the hexies. The Yarn at Hobby Lobby is on sale this week, so on Wednesday after school, I'm going out with some friends, and then I will probably stop by Hobby Lobby on my way home and grab the yarn that I need for the new blankets, and I've decided to just pick it up and roll with it. Is what it is. And my soubrette and my sailing shawl are totally being not even, I can't even call it hibernation because they're both new projects. My focus is just really on the cross stitch. I'm having a good time with it, and I'm gonna roll with it. That said, I do have something new on my yarn shelf because I couldn't help myself. I'm sure this has never happened to any of you. However, I received an email from Miss Babs, and it was featuring some new little kits. And she is partnering again with Sarah Shira from Imagine Landscape, and there is going to be another mystery gnome that Sarah is putting out beginning in the middle of April. And I got the email, and I saw one particular kit that I fell in love with, and so I may have accidentally, on purpose, bought a new kit. So this is, again, it comes in here, it's Miss Babs, but look at those fun colors. The purples, and oh, just so pretty. This white actually is not a plain white. I don't know if it's picking up in here, but there's little speckles. Let me try, oops, hold it that way. Can you see some of the speckles in there? So let's see, I have Pink Passion, Head Over Hills, and Cordovan are the color names. So I have this on my yarn shelf all ready to go. I purchased the pattern. It was I think 30% off right now. And it's just gonna sit quietly waiting for the middle of April. So maybe that's something that will work out really well for me to work on over April vacation. That's my theory. So we'll see. But that is it for on my yarn shelf. I do believe I will have my April Wool and Woman Fire box coming soon-ish. I do know I have a sock set coming from them because I have subscribed to their Patreon. So that should also be on its way to me. So maybe next week I will have some additional yarny goodness to show off. Finally, I have this week's day to day, and this is going to be really short because I don't have a lot to say because it was a really quiet week and I totally embraced it. I did not have anything at all week. I had Wednesday night was Bible study, but other than that, we were home Tuesday and Thursday. We were home Tuesday and Thursday. Friday night we did go out to dinner, but other than that, Saturday the weekend was fairly quiet and normal and straightforward. We did a barbecue last night with my brother and his wife. That's pretty much it, which is good, great. Can't even talk today. But anyway, fantastic, because this week coming is going to be a very, very busy week. There's a lot going on. The Odyssey of the Mind tournament is next weekend, so there's lots of moving parts as we gear up for that. It's of course Easter weekend, And it's my birthday on Wednesday, so it'll be a good week, but a very busy week. So I'm glad that last week was quiet, so I was able to kind of get in the headspace to take in the busyness that this week is going to be. So with that, I do think I will sign off for now. I will have links down below in the show notes for everything that I have talked about. If you have enjoyed the podcast, please do hit the like button and subscribe so you know when I post something new. You can find me on Ravelry and Instagram when I post as Knittin' Michelle, KNITTINMICHELLE, or you could send me an email at michellesfiberstudio@gmail.com. With that, I hope you have a fantastic week and happy knitting.